Hello, everyone. Today we're going to try and solve a puzzle. It's about a man from China's Song dynasty named Ko Zun, a top government official whose career is just full of contradictions. It's a really fascinating story.
So here's the big question, the mystery at the heart of his story. This man was brilliant. He was incredibly powerful and successful. So why on earth did he keep getting fired from his job?
Okay, to get to the bottom of this, we've got to go way back. We're heading back to the year 1015. It was a golden age for China's Song dynasty. And Ko Zun, who was at the very top, at the peak of his power, was suddenly dismissed for the fourth time.
So, who was this guy really? Well, first things first, we need to separate the man from the myth. There are a lot of popular stories about him, but we need to see what the history books actually say.
You know, it's pretty amazing how different the legend is from the real person. The stories people tell paint a picture of a poor, humble, and funny guy from Shanxi. But no, historical records tell us something completely different. He was actually from a very wealthy, very elite family in Shanxi, and he was known for being serious and sometimes even a little rough.
Yeah, he was born into a life of privilege. His family was full of successful scholars, and he enjoyed luxury. So much so that he didn't use cheap oil lamps like everyone else. Oh no. He used these super expensive candles. His personality was forceful, intense, not funny at all, and at the big parties he hosted, he would actually pressure his guests to drink a lot. So definitely not the simple, humble man from the legends.
So how did this guy get so powerful in the first place? Well, the real story starts with him being what we would call a boy wonder. He was a total prodigy. His rise to power was just incredibly fast. I mean, lightning fast. At just 19, he passed the toughest exam in the empire. He was the youngest in his class. By 24, he's got a job in the capital. Before you know it, at 30, he's a senior advisor to the emperor himself. And then, at just 33, he becomes the deputy prime minister, the youngest one in the history of the dynasty. Absolutely amazing.
But you have to wonder, right? Was this all because of his own talent? Was it just his own genius that got him there so fast, or was there something bigger going on behind the scenes?
We love to believe that success is all about personal hard work. But let's be real, sometimes the situation you're in, the environment around you, is the most important thing. So, for Ko Zun, was the road to success paved for him?
And in this case, yeah, the answer is a big yes. The emperor at the time, Emperor Taizong, he actually needed Ko Zun to succeed. This whole thing was part of the emperor's own clever political strategy.
Okay, so what was the emperor's game plan here? Well, it was pretty smart, actually. It had three parts. First, he wanted to build a loyal team of officials who owed their success to him. Second, he was thinking about the future. He wanted to train a brilliant minister for his son, who would be the next emperor. And third, he wanted to look good. He wanted to be seen as a wise ruler who wasn't afraid of honest, direct advice.
And Ko Zun was famous for being brutally honest. I mean, there's this one story where he literally pulls the emperor back onto his throne because he wasn't done arguing with him. And the emperor, he didn't get mad. He loved it. He even compared Ko Zun to Wei Zheng, who is maybe the most famous honest advisor in all of Chinese history.
But here's the twist. The very things that made the emperor value him so much, his honesty, his intensity, well, those were about to become his biggest problem.
This brings us to a really important idea in old Chinese politics. It's called the Gu Chen, or the solitary minister. Think of it like this. It's an official who has zero friends in the government, no allies. His only loyalty is to the emperor. He's completely alone.
And the emperor knew Ko Zun was perfect for this role. How? Well, Ko Zun had only one real political connection, a classmate from his exams. And when he found out that classmate's brother was corrupt, what did he do? He reported him, without a second thought. He cut his only political tie, just to prove his loyalty was only to the state.
So, being this solitary minister was like a double-edged sword. On one hand, the advantage was that the emperor trusted him completely. He was like a sharp knife that the emperor could use to cut out corruption. But on the other hand, the disadvantage was huge. He had no one, no allies to support him. He was easily isolated by his rivals, and his aggressive style made everybody angry.
And this is the key. He just would not compromise, not with his colleagues, and sometimes not even with the emperor himself. He became this blade, this sharp tool that the emperor just couldn't control anymore. And what happens when a tool becomes too dangerous to use? You have to put it away. And that's exactly what led to his downfall.
But his story isn't just about a guy with a difficult personality. It's really a tragedy. It's the tragedy of someone who just never grew as a person.
Decades later, a new emperor gave Kujun another chance. And what happened? Total failure. The emperor even said, and this is amazing, "I thought getting older would, soften him. I was wrong. He is worse than before. He just had not changed one bit. He never learned how to work with other people."
And this really gets to the main lesson of his life, doesn't it? A person's own ability can only take you so far. Real, lasting success, that comes from your relationships, from your network of people.
Think about it like this. When you're in your 20s, success is having someone to guide you. In your 30s, it's about someone trusting you with big responsibilities. By your 40s, you need your peers, your coworkers to support you. And by your 50s, true success is when people want to follow you, to be led by you. Kojun, he got stuck in those first couple of stages. He was always a brilliant individual, but he never became a true colleague or a leader.
But right at the very end of his life, there was this one moment, a moment that shows that maybe, just maybe, he finally understood. While he was in exile, he had the perfect chance to get revenge on his biggest enemy. But instead, he chose grace.
So his greatest rival, a man named Ding Wei, was also sent into exile, very close to where Kojun was living. Instead of revenge, Kojun sent him a respectful gift, a steamed sheep, which was a very generous meal. Then he locked his own gates to make sure his staff couldn't go and attack his old enemy. In this one final act, he showed the tolerance and understanding that he couldn't find his entire career. It was a beautiful moment of peace.
And so, Kujun's story leaves us with a really powerful question to think about for our own lives. When does our greatest strength become our biggest weakness? It's definitely something worth thinking about.